Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Kate and Neha. And Neha is the First Landings representative in India. We're going to be basically doing it over a podcast or over Zoom. So there'll probably be some camera trickery from Derek. So, Neha, thank you very much for joining us.
hmm Thank you for inviting me.
And you are a pilot in India, right? You came over here, you did your training, and now you're working on basically converting your
Yes,
certifications. Okay,
exactly.
so let me just ask one big question. Super curious about it. What are the minimum requirements in India to be able to go to the airlines?
So, like in USA, we have 1500 hours.
Yeah.
Like those are important. In India, we don't have such requirements. We have mostly 100-hour PIC. Like, you have to do 50 hours, 100 nautical mile cross country time, 300 nautical mile again, another cross country. So like, you need to have like a solo time requirement according to DGCA, 100-hour PIC. And when you complete the training, most people do it in like 200, 250. So around that time you're ready and then you go for type rating. That's how it works in India.
So basically, you can be in um, the airline industry around 250 hours.
Yeah, we can take that number as a, perfect number.
Kind of a baseline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and we were doing a little bit of kind of the discovery chat before we got going. Okay. So it's a pretty even mix between military pilots and self-funded pilots, correct?
Yes, it is a like kind of equal mix, but I've been seeing a trend of self-funded people more now. More
Okay.
hmm
people are choosing, this career because aviation is growing at a very faster pace back in India.
Yeah.
So I think we haven't seen such growth in India in so many years, and this is happening very rapidly because of, so many airports coming up, and airlines are getting a lot of they are buying like a lot of aircrafts right now, like some of the biggest deal in the world. So because of that, people are choosing this career just after their 10 plus 2.
Was there any kind of like a pilot shortage at all that had happened that's kind of spawned the growth? Or was it just, okay, the growth has demanded more pilots?
I think as if now, what I feel, there is no shortage of pilots, but there is shortage of commanders.
Mm.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, but I feel like there's shortage of quality pilots. I like to say in that way because, not everybody gets the same level of training. And then those people have like hard time getting into the airlines.
hmm
So sometimes people lose their licenses actually. They're just sitting at home, doing nothing for years, not able to get a job.
Mm.
So we have such cases in India where people had their licenses but were not able to get the jobs.
Yeah.
So
What would
yeah.
you say is the ratio and the difference between female to male pilots in India?
So I'll say India has the highest number of female pilots in the world right now.
Mm.
Um, Ratio is like still less, but I'll say it's increasing a
That's
lot.
awesome.
And
And
if like India is kind of like, has the highest number of female pilots in aviation, I think that is
mhm.
something which tells the growing rate of female pilots in India right now.
Yeah, and do they have something like women in aviation or chapters like that in India?
Um, so we have like those chapters like 99s
99s,
in
okay.
India. So they have those kind of chapters, but the problem is awareness. Not many females are aware about these support groups right now. Because, as you say, because of general aviation in US, these groups are something, which everybody knows about.
Mm-hmm.
General aviation has a huge part in, accomplishing a lot in aviation, particularly.
Yeah.
Here, we don't have general aviation. Like, we don't have a aircraft taking off in front of our house, or we don't have like, those kind of things here. So general aviation is something which is kind of responsible, I feel. And then these 99s, and women in aviation chapters are also like, not many women know about it right now. But we hope we make progress in,
So
spreading this thing.
Mostly in India, it is more, aviation is more career-based and not hobby-based.
Yes.
There's no real hobby flying.
Yeah.
Don't have
Fun
like
flying.
CFIs. Like Neha has her CFI, and that's super rare in India because it's like all of general aviation is pretty not non-existent, but like pretty rare, right, Neha? Like
I mean,
having your
from
CFI is
FA, yeah.
different.
It's kind of like from FA, it's very rare. I'll say very few people choose to do CFI from FA for India. And even in India, people who are choosing to become instructors, they are not much in numbers right now. And I think that is a reason we have shortage of instructors. Like we don't have as many instructors as US. So yeah, that thing is kind of rare.
There's very few flight schools over there then.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know the exact number, but it is around 35, if I'm not wrong, in the entire India. So
that is absolutely shocking of just how small that number is.
And I mean,
Exactly.
if you think about it though, if they're able, like Neha said, they're able to get their 250 hours and go to fly for Air India. That's like if our commercial pilots were able to just go and not be instructors, which I think that time is so crucial. And Neha, if you want to tell a little bit of a backstory on how you came to First Landings, and just maybe a little bit about your training beforehand and why you decided.
So I was like, I was doing training somewhere else, and my experience there wasn't like that great initially, to be honest, being an international student, because as an international student you seek that support team. That's someone who can guide you through, because you don't know the culture, you don't know anything about the country, and there's like little communication gap also, because we understand things differently, and people there understand things differently, and that's completely normal. But I feel there were a lot of gaps in my training. It's like an instructor is supposed to help you, guide you,
mentor.
Yeah. So I expected that, because I'm paying for my training, and obviously I'll expect my instructor to teach me. I did get few nice instructors, but there were like few instructors who were kind of expecting me to know already. And I think that as an international student, as someone from a different country, was like a little shocking. You hesitate in asking questions then if someone expects you to know, because you'll be like, oh, what my instructor will think if I don't know the answer. So the learning gap increases because of that. So I had certain issues and all that, and I think by the time I did my CFI, I was pretty sure that I have to look for better options and all that. And that's when I was looking for places to work, and I was like going around and all that. I came across First Landings, and I think Caitlyn remembers, for a week I was in shock. Like I'm like, oh, is this supposed to be so relaxed? Like that's how I was perceiving this new environment, because I didn't see something like this before. So I think that was like one of the most, I always say it was the best day for me, because I found the Captain Jim, that he was covering all those gaps, even though I was already a CFI, and those things which I used to hear in FOIs, fundamentals of instruction, I got to see it in person.
Right.
Because most people read about FOIs and they just think it's some psychology. We just need to, get marks and pass. Yeah. But I feel like at First Landings, there was, that implementation of FOIs. which I personally love the most because more than that theoretical part, FOIs help students in, learning better. And that's what we want.
Well, that's really, for me, I've known Adam a lot of years now. So I've known what his vision was for First Landings and with the culture that he wanted out in the world for First Landings, and knew people to just be able to say, I don't know this, can you please help me, without feeling bad for asking for help. So it's absolutely, to hear it from a prior student and instructor is absolutely great. That's the whole purpose of flight schools is that, yes, I mean it is a school, right? But you should always be able to look at your teacher and say, hey, I didn't understand that, can you explain that to me? And it's down to the instructor then to figure out how to make that connection for the student. So that's absolutely great to hear it. Absolutely great. What would you say the main drive in India is for people to pursue flight training?
In USA?
Well, no, for Indians.
Like just
what is it a good career as far as longevity and as far as money is concerned in India?
What is the biggest motivation?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think because of these influencers and all, we have a lot of pilot influencers in India, and they portray aviation as, fame, name, and glamour. So I feel like, because this is my personal experience, I came across some people just before their check ride, like from India, where they were doing the check ride for multi-engine and calculating fuel for single engine. And I'm like, my first question was, tell me again why you want to be a pilot and you have a check ride after 1 hour. And he's like, oh, I'll do it later on, I was in a hurry and all. Like, there were a lot of mistakes. And then when the check ride was over, I asked him, like, tell me why you want to be a pilot. I just want to travel. These kind of answers I have heard a lot, like, I want to have a page and all that. So I feel like few people are getting little, misled by influencers to choose this option, because being a pilot is not about fame, name, and glamour. That's what I feel personally. It's about discipline, responsibility, and taking accountability. And you have to be humble, because you have to take care of your crew and passengers. So you need to have a certain set of qualities to be a pilot. So I feel like, as I always say, USA has general aviation, and like aviation as a whole is very developed in USA, and I'm not going to deny that. In India, it's like, if you talk to my parents also, they don't know anything about aviation much, except, oh yeah, she flies plane, that's it. Like, they don't know much about it.
No,
it's
truly.
like, okay, yeah, it's like they'll call me when I was there, did you land? Okay, good.
I would agree with you. I mean, if you're going to get into aviation, it comes into focus, safety, knowledge. I think
exactly.
Those one of the biggest ones out of that is really safety. The second one is knowledge, and the third one is focus. Well, you can switch those around whichever way you want, because all three of those, that should be a pyramid that is always constantly zipping around each other and saying, okay, am I focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I know what I'm doing? And am I safe in what I'm doing? Right?
Exactly.
Those three things could really be interchangeable at any given point inside the menu, but they're there and they need to be there. So yeah, it's I think you see that also here, where people are more interested in what it is, being able to say, oh, I'm a pilot, rather than actually doing everything that is required for being a pilot. We've seen a lot of different instances where somebody They know it. I mean, they go through the check rides, they get their licenses, they get their add-ons, but ultimately they fall short and get themselves in a situation because they were too busy possibly making a video about
Yeah.
what they were doing for YouTube, and they lost that
Yeah.
concentration that needed to be there. So we see it over here as well, but fortunately we've the system has a way of being able to try to work some of those people out.
Yeah.
It'll be a long way there.
Yeah. So uh, what are you wanting to aim at with aviation in India? Are you wanting to stay in India and only basically fly for an Indian company, or are you thinking you would like to possibly go and see other countries inside of other jobs? So basically leave India and basically move for some time and do more flying experience.
I think like as I chose US for my training because of, safety rules and standards of training, like there were certain maneuvers that are not even allowed in India. So like I did my spins there and I cannot do the spins here as a student or as a CFI. So that was experience I got from there. Like I did a lot of things. I flew different planes and all that. So I got my experience from there and I'm trying to implement it right now here with the kind of mindset I grew into as a person. I think it has helped me as a pilot also. Right now I'm focused on like just converting my license and working in India for a while because everybody has those work permit issues and all that. But I am planning my master's in aviation safety next.
Awesome.
Once I'm done with it. Yeah, so my goal is not just to fly because I have realized a lot of things that I think we need to, influence people with the right mindset. That, as I said, it's not about just recording cool videos and, just showing that I'm a pilot or saying, look, I'm a pilot. No, it's not about that. It's about having that safety mindset. And I think my goal is to work on that, to work in India. And if life gives me opportunities further, I would love to explore even outside because aviation is one family. It doesn't have any countries. Like,
Yep.
aviation is just one family.
Lots of brothers and sisters all over the world. So
Yeah. And
Exactly.
are there any age gaps like we have here in the US? And like if so, what are they?
Age gaps in like people who are choosing to do training.
Yes, people who are like choosing to be pilots,
Yeah,
age gaps there.
yeah. So I think that's a very good question because when I came to US and I was seeing people around 40 also, starting their private pilot license,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, that's so motivating. Like I found it personally very, inspiring because in India I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that was the best part of, like there's no age restriction there. And here people think, after a certain age that uh, they shouldn't do it or, something like that because, at 40, who will hire them?
well, I got started as far as getting my license quite late. I mean, I was in my 30s,
Hmm.
so it's. I always tell people it's never too late. Depending on
Exactly.
depending on what track they're on at stake. If they're trying to do it for
Yeah.
career, well, that's a different. That you got to look at some of that. Is there a mandatory retirement age in India for pilots?
It's like around 60, 65. I'm not sure. I'll have to confirm the
Similar
number
to ours,
Pretty
because
probably.
last time I saw it was 60 years, something like it was pretty smart. Yeah. So, um, but yeah, I mean that age factor, I feel like it's more, I'll say flexible in US. If I ask my dad right now or ask my uncle, like who is 45, I'll just, he loves aviation. My uncle loves aviation, and I'll be like, do you want to be a pilot? It's like, I'm 45. What do you think? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, so I see that kind of perspective here. Like, are you serious? You're asking me to do pilot training at 45? But in US, it's not the same. I have seen even at 50. I think there was a woman in my previous academy who was 50,
Oof.
and she became a CFI, and she's like, I'm still hopeful and I will make it to the airline. Like, she was that positive. So I don't see that part here right now. And I think that's that's my another goal, to promote aviation. Like, it shouldn't be restricted to the airlines.
No, I mean, I kind of keep an eye, well, not keep an eye, I watch it constantly, with people talking about, am I too old at 40? Am I too old at 45? Am I too old at 50? And they're always told, okay, just for the airline side of it, it's mandatory, retirement at 65. But if you want to still keep flying inside a corporate world, you can fly until you can't get a medical anymore, really.
Yeah.
So, the medical is, I'm sure it's the same over there. The medical is really key. Once you can't get a medical anymore, well, then, yeah, you're not going to be able to fly anymore.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so let me ask that question now. As I said, I'm sure, is the medical exams, are the medical exams the same in India?
We have very, I'll say they are tough. Medical exams are tough here.
Okay.
So, like, I did my class one medical, like, we have class two and class one medical here. So, I did one of the medical in Air Force Station.
Okay.
Oh.
So, and it took me like 3 days.
3 days.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
Like, I was staying there.
how come it took so long? Is there, I mean, you did your third class medical over here, correct, to do your flight training?
Yeah, I actually did the class one five, like, for valid for five. Basically, I wanted to do it for my conversion purpose, because then, if in case I choose to do recency from US or something like that, I might have to come back again. So I just wanted to, like, do it once. I mean, it's not that hard. We have FA doctors here also in India.
You did your
So that's
first
not a
class.
problem, but
You did your first class medical here, and you've done your first class medical in India.
yeah,
Which one's harder?
Indian.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's
Yeah.
the main difference? What makes it so much harder over there?
I think the checks, overall checks they have in India, it's like so much in detail.
Yeah.
And yeah, so in FA, I think when I went to a FA doctor, it was like half an hour. That's it. It didn't take me like much time, but that one, like, was like, I had to first do checkups for my eye, my hearing tests, like a lot of checks overall. Like, even they check for your skin sometimes, like you don't have
Yeah.
any allergies or something. Like, there are a lot of details, so I think that takes a lot of time, and they're serious about it. Like, very, like, they don't like, suppose someone has a fatty liver grade 1, first time they are gonna write it,
Yeah.
you should be okay by next time. But
So,
if you continue to have that, maybe it increases to grade 2, they'll be talking to you. I'm like, what's going on?
So is it more of a, I would say more of a current physical there versus a history-based medical here?
I mean, it's both. They do ask about history as well here, also. So they do ask about some, like, psychological aspects of it. Any kind of history related to any, disease or something, they do ask about it. But then they do the current checks also, like, it's combined.
3-day medical though.
That's intense.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that was.
I would
I'd be
definitely.
sweating.
I think that'd make the coolest of individuals a little nervous to go do a 3-day medical. So,
I had
well,
eye dilation for a day. Like
Oh,
my
no.
one day
they
was
dilate
gone
your
into.
eyes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I
obviously,
had that one.
with eyes, you go and see the eye doctor over here, and they'll do, dilation pretty much at every single, appointment. But I haven't
Yeah.
heard of it for the for the aviation specific medical side of it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we're running close on time now. I want to just quickly ask, and I'll pass it over to Kate so that Kate can close it out. But is there anything that you want to put forth to any potential pilots that are in India? Maybe a way to be able to try to get in touch with you and speak to you about your experiences. Have you got an Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Pilot Neha,
But our
and
website too.
yeah, I'm on their website. I'm on First Landings website also. My phone number and my email is there.
Okay.
So yeah, they can reach out to me, and if they're listening to me right now, so I'll just say one thing: if you're coming to US for quality training, First Landing is the place for you, because we don't just tick boxes. We actually, learn everything in detail. And that makes you a good pilot, because it's not just about doing maneuvers, taking off, landing, and doing check rides. It's about that mindset of being a pilot that you will learn at First Landings.
Exactly. I have something fun for us to do. Craig didn't know I was going to do this. I decided midway through. Derek, you have to participate too. So we're just gonna do this. It's this really funny TikTok trend. You'll go last.
Oh no.
We're gonna be like, give me my money, and then we're all gonna say yay, and then that's how it goes. So I'll go first, and then everybody says yay. Okay, ready, Neha? Give me my money.
Okay. And
yay!
Yeah.
All right, Neha, your turn.
Give me my money.
Yay! Derek, your turn.
Give me my money.
Yeah!
Yeah.
All right, Craig, your turn.
Give me my money. That's it. How did Mike didn't get it yay?
It's the trend. It's the trend that one person gets left out.
I got left out. Okay.
You got left out.
I see how it is.
Clip that, Derek.
Okay. Neha, I want to say thank you very much. It's been eye-opening. 3-day medicals. That's my biggest singular shock takeaway for it. A lot of other takeaways, but that's the shock one. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Craig. You too, Caitlyn.
Thanks. Take care.